Hey fellas, this week what we're going to talk about is just kind of becoming that spark, being that light for somebody in their life, whatever that might look like. So it kind of goes in line with the message that they just preached this week. You can go back and watch the message if you missed it. But what I kind of want to go over is we all know that person that walks into a room and they instantly change the conversation for good. And we're all, and especially for guys, we're like, man, that guy's got it going on. He comes in and instantly he owns the room. A lot of times that could be out of humor, that could be out of his stature, whether it's a tall guy, carries himself well, all this stuff. A lot of times it's just his reputation of coming in, speaking any kind of life in any kind of situation, and people know that, and as soon as he walks in, they instantly wait for that word. They're just itching to hear what he's got to say. So, figuring that out takes a process that we have to do as a self-evaluation of that. So whenever you walk into a room, you have to think, what am I doing to this conversation? Am I bringing more information to it? Am I hindering it? Am I bringing it down? Am I just, making it louder? Like, am I being positive in this conversation? Am I being a source of good information? Am I bringing light to darkness in a bigger sense? It kind of reminds me of a story or a situation that Jill and I had. We were hiking and the sun went down. We decided to hike out at night, and I had this little bitty lamp, headlamp, and in any other day it wouldn't be that bright, but we were out in the pitch black of darkness, right? And we're coming down this hill, and instantly that little bitty light that we had gave us our path out. That was our only source of light. And so that's a very big topic within Christianity is the absence of light is darkness. Darkness is only existing when there's no light. It doesn't exist by itself. It doesn't just show up and then there's darkness. It shows up when there's no light being produced. There's no source of good news or anything being produced. And so I always look at that headlamp a little bit differently, because that night it showed us our way out. And it was just a little bitty light, little bitty 1 LED, low lumens. I've got my cell phone's brighter than this light. But for that night and for that time, it was our way out, and it gave us the contrast of green trees and brown bark and all this stuff, where if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to see the colors of the trees. We wouldn't be able to see the color of the blazes on the trees and showing us where to go and all this stuff. It was that little bitty source of light that gave us the way out, and it gave us that opportunity to get out. That's what we have to figure out, if that's what we're doing in a conversation. Are we giving somebody that clarity, giving them that opportunity for a way out if they're struggling with something in their life, with a decision they're making, or just their pursuit of God? Are we giving them that opportunity to see more of Him? So whenever you think of that, evaluate yourself into that conversation, that's what you have to think about. That's the key to figuring out if you're bringing the most that you can to this conversation. And there's a quote, it's from John Maxwell. It says, your attitude tells the world what it can expect from life. So your attitude is going to show them either your faith, it's going to show them where you're at. It'll 100% show them exactly where you're at in your faith. A guy's reaction is the tell-all. And as guys, we have so much power to change the atmosphere around us. A lot of times women are just looking for that security from guys, or a lot of times younger guys are looking to say, how can I be a better man? All this stuff, we have control of that. That's a very big responsibility in a man's life, is the atmosphere around him. So if you instantly get mad when something doesn't go your way, everybody around you can see that and say, man, I thought he was stronger than that. I thought he had more faith in that. If you give it the opportunity of God to take that situation and make it work, people will see that and be like, that's what I want to be like. That's whenever something got tough for that guy, he for a second, took a deep breath, turned it over to God, and trusted that situation, trusted it, and allowed the light to fill that void in his heart. So reaction is key. It's key to everything that we do. It is the reaction, the immediate reaction after something happens is exactly where your heart is. So if it's always in anger, that's something we have to work on. If it is in doubt, that is something we have to work on. All these things I evaluate myself from. This isn't just coming from somebody that's achieved it. This is somebody that just is aware of it and has to work harder at it. We have to, and we have the responsibility, and we have the ability, thank God, to bring the change in the atmosphere around us. And if we're not honing in that craft or really turning over our hearts, we're going to miss so many opportunities with bringing just that little bitty spark into somebody's life that will be their moment of clarity, their moment of trust in God. So we have to be ready for those situations. Whenever you walk into a room, think about that. Be like, what can I do to make this room better? What can I do to show God in a better light? We all know those guys that walk into the room and they instantly own it. And they own it on very good reasons. Not because they're the loudest, not because they dress the craziest. They own it because they walk in with confidence, they walk in with the truth, and they walk in every time like that. It is all about consistency, and it is all about reactions. And so whenever they walk into that room, they have either a plan or they have the truth that's backing up their thoughts. And so that's what we have to spend our time to evaluate on. We have to see, what are we bringing to this world? What are we bringing to this conversation? What are we doing to show God the way he is meant to be shown? So think about that. Really, really dive deep into that. Really check yourself in a conversation and just really just kind of just stop for a second and say, what am I doing here? Not what can I do to put myself in a spotlight. Let's flood the light. Spotlight is an attention source. Okay, so the least bit of floodlight will completely wipe out the darkness for somebody. And so that's what we have to focus on. That's what we really have to make sure that we are staying on track with, and that's what we have to make sure that that we are always aware of and always conscious of, is that opportunity to be that light for that one split second for somebody that's just waiting for that has never seen it before. So think about that. Let me know if you've had any kind of changes or anything like that that's popped up. Put them down below. Send me a message or anything like that. I'd be glad to hear. I love hearing some feedback and messages that I've been getting. So keep me up to date, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.